How to remodel a bathroom without living through a nightmare. This is Kevin with River City Construction, and this is your home information podcast. Today we have a very interesting topic. How do you remodel a bathroom without living through a nightmare? We have all heard horror stories how homeowners go through a renovation super excited about their bathroom remodel or kitchen remodel or basement remodel, and they go through the phase of sales process. They trust the guy that they've come to their home, and they like the company. Everything looks pretty, but once you start the project, everything goes downhill from there. We have heard hundreds of stories like this from previous homeowners, and now I want to address, why does your project turn into a nightmare, how to prevent your project turning into a nightmare, and what are some of the key elements that we would take or that you should take in order for your project to go smoothly and you can have the perfect space that you need and you deserve. So why is it that a bathroom feels so hard, or why is it that it takes so long to build a bathroom or remodel a bathroom? There's a couple of key factors that take place when it comes down to specific a bathroom remodel. We need to talk about the plumbing that goes behind the walls. We need to talk about the electrical side of it all, the waterproofing and ventilation. So when, a lot of homeowners give us a call and say, hey, Kevin, I want to turn my tub into a walk-in shower. And it seems like, we're going to remove the tub and putting a new tub or putting a new shower pan like these big companies do. But in reality, what happens in the back end of turning a tub into a shower is that the drain system needs to change, and once we go into the drain system, it needs to go into the main waste stack of the home. So plumbing needs an upgrade, right? And as soon as we do a plumbing upgrade, we will need to do an electrical upgrade of the entire bathroom. So things to take in consideration, right? You do need a plumber, a master plumber or a licensed plumber. You do need an electrical or a master electrician or a journeyman electrician in order to pull that permit to be able to have a smooth transition through the what we call the mechanical phases of your bathroom, right? Everything needs to be up to code. As soon as in Massachusetts, as soon as you rip off the wall, everything that goes back needs to be to nearest code. And codes just change, by the way. So be on the lookout for that. Waterproofing. Why waterproofing is so important? And waterproofing is one of those things that it never gets old. It never ends. And there's always new products coming out. There's always new things that we can improve as contractors, right? And to make sure that your bathroom is watertight, it is our duty to make sure that your bathroom is watertight. So that's why we have tests that we can do in order to make sure that there is no leaks in the near future and that your bathroom is waterproof and watertight. Ventilation and insulation. Of course, we want to make sure that, the exterior walls have at least R30 to make sure that we meet that minimum. R21 is always good as well. But we want to make sure that we have as much ventilation as we can. Vapor barriers between those exterior walls. Make sure that you do have a vapor barrier between the interior wall or the exterior wall and the interior, component of your waterproofing. And ventilation, of course, you want to make sure that that everything is venting out. You don't want things venting into your ceiling, into your attic. You want to make sure that you're venting to the outside. Remember, we're trying to remove the moisture from the bathroom. A lot of people love to shower with really, really hot water, and what that does to the bathroom or to the place. Once again, Massachusetts bathrooms are not big, and having a small space without perfect or good ventilation can sometimes create moistures in the wall, and moisture always accumulates in the colder place, right? In the colder places, whenever you have hot water running, you will see water running through the coldest place of the home. So be on the lookout of that. I always recommend my homeowners to run the fan about 30 to 45 minutes after they're done showering, just to make sure that you get all the moisture out. So ventilation is very, very important when it comes down to your bathroom remodel. Another thing is, in order to avoid any stress, plan accordingly, right? So it's important to plan. If I can stress anything, plan, 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 and plan. Plan before you begin demo. Have your clear timelines before you begin demo. Understand the process before you get demo. Ask all the questions. Make sure that you're asking the right questions. Has the permit been approved? Has the plumbing permit been approved? Has the electrical permit been approved? Ask all these questions because, once we demo, now you're living in a construction zone. Once we begin demo in that home and you're living there, you better make sure that everything that the contractor does is up to code. And if you trust the contractor, of course, you will know that they're doing a great job. So have your final layout already done. Have your fixture selections done. Have your tile choices done. Have your budget, because sometimes, we go into these remodels and there's really no set budget, right? So if you don't have a really set budget, you're going to run into issues where, the contractor is going to try to oversell you on something that you really don't need. So have a clear budget. Understand that once demos start, there is every undecided choice becomes a delay. Everything that you don't make up your mind on, once we begin demo, it will become a delay in the process of remodeling. So now understand the step number 2 is the permitting and the inspections. Well, we've done a video about permitting and why permitting takes so long in Massachusetts. But understanding that permitting is not like you can get up in the morning, yeah, today we're going to have an inspection. I mean, you can have that expectation, right? It's okay to have that expectation positively. You can wake up a day and expect the inspection, but you will call the inspector, and then the inspector sometimes gives you a date and time, and they will come in and do their inspection. So when permits are required, inspection stages are key to the movement of that project, right? Making sure that, you have your condo approval letter and all of those good things to you so you can acquire your permit and so you can go through the inspections as smoothly as possible. Step number 3 is protecting your daily life. It's important to understand that we're living in older homes, right? And in Massachusetts, I recently ran into a homeowner that, we're going to do a remodel. We're going to do a kitchen and bathroom remodel, and they actually asked us about ventilation, if we're going to be running are we going to contain the dust? How are we going to contain the dust? Are we lead safe certified? Are we going to be doing lead testing to their home? So all of those things, please make sure you ask, right? Sometimes when you're excited to begin the project, you just want the project to get rocking and rolling. You've already given your deposit and you're like, yes, let's begin this demo. But you're like, yes, let's begin this demo. But what about those steps that can protect you and protect your home, right? Protect your daily life. You don't want to run into asbestos or lead exposure without, having those proper procedures in your home. So have alternative, bathing options, making sure that you have a place to bathe, you have a place to use the toilet, making sure that you do have a toilet in the home that is usable, or try to coordinate with the contractor to make sure that you can keep at least a toilet in the home if it's the only toilet in the home. Sequence matters, right? Step number 4 is understanding the sequence and why the sequence matters, right? So first, once we are getting into your home and we have a perfect plan and the plan is good to go, the sequence is demo, rough plumbing, rough electrical, waterproofing, or before the waterproofing, it goes into inspections, waterproofing, tile installation, fixtures, and final inspections, right? Skipping any step or rushing through these can sometimes delay the project. Right? Sometimes I've seen that contractors say, yeah, we're going to have all of our inspections begin closing up this side of the wall. And then once you call the inspector said, no, I want you to remove all of that. I'm telling you, based on experiences that have happened to me in the past, because we wanted to rush things just to give, to our homeowners, their home back. We've rushed to make sure that, we're pushing through, but in reality, we're kind of setting us back, right? So making sure that you're not skipping steps, making sure that you're doing everything as it follows. And skipping steps and rushing, a lot of the time will cause delays. Realistic timelines is the number 5, step number 5. Realistically, understanding the timeline, understanding the permitting process. It takes up to 30 days in Massachusetts to acquire the permit. So don't get desperate. The permit will come. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes, the city halls are really fast with the permit. Sometimes they do take a little bit longer. Understand the inspections availability. It is up to the inspectors that they will come out and inspect the place, not up to us. Understand material lead times. If you go online, yes, you might love a piece of tile, but what is the lead time on that tile, right? Tile sometimes, depending on where you shop, can have up to 4 to 6 weeks of lead times, vanity as well. So make sure that you do shop local. We have some great local shops for tile and plumbing supplies as well. Make sure that whenever you're buying a plumbing supply, that you're actually going to a Massachusetts approved vendor, that you're not just buying something out of online just because a lot of online items are not Massachusetts approved. So you want to make sure that whatever plumbing you put into your house is Massachusetts approved, just so it doesn't cause a delay in the project. A lot of the times homeowners want to buy this fancy shower valves, which look beautiful. Leave that for the Californians. Leave that for Miami. In Massachusetts, we have, plumbing codes that we need to abide and follow. So make sure that all of your plumbing fixtures, toilets are Massachusetts approved. Material lead times, hitting issues. What are some hitting issues? Hitting issues like, let's say, framing is not up to code and we need to fix the framing. The subfloor is not good or is not level. We have to level the flooring. Make sure that all of those little hitting issues do get tackled within the project. Understanding the common nightmares that we have faced in the past, or some of the nightmares that we have seen in the past, is that a lot of homeowners cheap out on some materials, or they decide to go the cheapest quote, and sometimes the cheapest quote will not give you the best quality. So be on the lookout for that. Get at least 3 to 4 estimates before you commit to a contractor, and make sure that you are understanding everything in that contract, what that contractor will provide. A lot of the times people call us, hey, to be honest, I just want to make sure that this quote is good. Can you help me out? We're more than welcome to help you out to make sure that you're getting the best deal for your project. Ignoring ventilation is a no-no. That will create issues in the long run. Skipping waterproofing properly will create bigger issues in the long run. And understanding inspections, overall, the inspections are there to protect you and us, right? So make sure that there's a second eyes of professionals that are looking at your home and making sure that everything is up to code and legal. Why this matters? This matters because ultimately, whenever you're going through a construction process, it's not going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be easy, because it's not easy, but it's not going to be, oh yeah, one day you're going to wake up and everything's going to be perfect. No, it's construction. It's human made, right? It's only we live a rule about a quarter of an inch of a rule, right? What that means is going to be off about a quarter of an inch. And that might be as a joke, but in reality, everything is crafted by man, by humans, right? And not everything is going to be dead on perfect, and if you want dead on perfect, I recommend you getting a machine to get it done for you. Get a machine. So, a bathroom remodel doesn't have to be stressful, but it does have to be planned accordingly. A bathroom remodel is not any different from a big remodel. Planning, it is the key. Although it is a smaller project, although you may say to yourself, it's just a bathroom remodel. Why is it so much? The key of a successful project, it is in the planning. How do you plan? How do you position your bathroom remodel so it could be the best bathroom or the best experience that you can have? The difference between a smooth remodel and a nightmare isn't luck. It's about preparation. It's not about, oh yeah, I got lucky. No, it's about how well is the contractor prepared and how did he prepare the project. If you're planning a bathroom remodel and want to avoid unnecessary stress, and planning is the key to success. A bathroom remodel is not just about, oh yeah, Jack and this guy Jack is going to remodel my bathroom, and yeah, we're ready to remodel. Yeah, no. hold your horses, plan it accordingly. Remember, we're dealing with your home, we're dealing with your family, and we're dealing with your loved ones. Remember, this is Kevin with River City Construction, where we help you learn, live better, and love your home. See you in the next one.